realms of the Russian bear will return in just a moment.
500 years after Columbus sailed forth on his voyage of discovery, humanity is poised on the verge of another incredible voyage. Join Star Trek: The Next Generation's Patrick Stewart on an epic journey with the first human beings to explore another planet. Quest for Planet Mars. The first episode of Space Age.
Join us Monday night at 7.
Renewal memberships provide the largest single source of funding for Prairie Public Television. When you receive your renewal notice, all you have to do to keep your favorite programs coming your way is return it with a check. Or you can renew by using your credit card and our 800 phone number.
Ding 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 ding
You're invited to a spectacular night of new plays, new music, new dance, new rap, and more stars than I can possibly name in only 30 seconds. And this incredible celebration of good old American creativity marks an equally incredible 20-year milestone. Happy anniversary. Great performances.
Saturday night at 9. Have a question about a divorce, real estate, tenants' rights? Ask a lawyer. Sunday at 4.
Mary had a little lamb.
Its fleece was white as snow.
And everywhere that Mary went,
that lamb was sure to go.
Next on POV, American Tongues, the award-winning film about the many ways Americans talk.
They talk like everybody else.
Tomorrow night at 8.
This is PBS. Realms of the Russian Bear from Nature is available on home video cassette. This series explores the vast and varied landscape of the former Soviet Union and discovers its incredible diversity of wildlife. To order individual episodes for $24.95 each, or the entire 6-part series for $119.95, plus shipping and handling, call 1-800-336-1917 or write to the address on your screen. Please specify program title.
Years after Columbus sailed forth on his voyage of discovery, humanity is poised on the verge of another incredible voyage. Join Star Trek: The Next Generation's Patrick Stewart on an epic journey with the first human beings to explore another planet. Quest for Planet Mars. The first episode of Space Age.
Tune in Monday night at 7.
The history of the Forks goes back long before records, and while we were putting in sewers, we uncovered remains of campfires that date back to 6,000 years ago, prior to the erection of the pyramids in Egypt. So this place has been used. As long as the rivers have been here, it's much easier to canoe down a river, walk along the frozen ice, than it is to head straight across the prairie or through the trees. So the rivers have made this a meeting place. 3 different groups of people meeting here on an annual basis to make up trade alliances, intermarry, trade the goods from the forest with the goods from the prairies. And that pattern continued through into historic times. The European fur traders, first with the French regime in Quebec, and then later with the Canadian colonies, ended up coming through here. The Hudson's Bay Company, the Northwest Company, the independent traders. And La Vérendrye, who was the first recorded explorer in the area, was invited to this area by the Assiniboine Nation in 1737, and they suggested he set up a trading spot. Fort Rouge was the result. The latter two-day giants in the fur trade, the Hudson's Bay Company and the Northwest Company, both used this area as a meeting place for their brigades, the ones that were going further inland. The next major aspect that occurred at the Forks was the arrival of the immigrants from all over Europe. Take the rail to Minneapolis, get on the steamboats that supplied the Red River, and get off at the immigration sheds, which were approximately 150 meters from where we're standing. The majority of the homesteaders, Icelandic, Mennonite, Ukrainian, Polish, whatever, arrived through that. The next great aspect was the arrival of rail, both rail coming north from Minneapolis, which arrived at this site in 1889, and the eastern rail across the river over my shoulder in St. Boniface area arrived in 1895. And at that point, Winnipeg, although it had been a village, a fur trade center, and at one time effectively the political capital of all of Western Canada under the Hudson's Bay, it became a city in its own right, the gateway to the west. And this revitalization of this former rail yard, which has existed for 100 years, into the National Park and the other areas that are Forks Renewal Corporation developing as a people place, it's turning it back to the people who are coming back to their roots. So it's a link for all of Canada, and not only just Canada, but all of Western North America. All construction on here has been mainly revitalizing and refurbishing existing buildings. The current market at one time was two stables built in 1909 by two competing rail companies, the Grand Trunk and the Canadian Northern. One of the buildings housed 120 horses and the other 100 horses. The goods would come in by rail, and you didn't have couriers in those days. The rail company would throw the goods on the wagons and deliver it out to the recipient. The building has been revitalized into the aspect of patterned after the old Winnipeg City Market. And the new tower actually is patterned after the old city tower as well in that market. We have instituted a program where members of the public, ranging in age from 7 to 87, can come down, actually excavate, work in the labs, and participate in the recovery of the archaeology. Excavating on the remains of Fort Gibraltar, the charred timbers that were left when the fort was burnt, the fish bones and, that were part of the supper of the traders that lived there. And by exposing children particularly, and adults as well, it gives them a tactile sense, a hands-on sense of, yeah, there were people behind the history, and it's not just a list of names and dates. It was real people who did real things, doing their best to get along, do their job, and this is what they left behind. And even someone like myself who's been a professional archaeologist for 20 years, there still is a thrill of holding in your hand something that nobody else has touched for 100 years, 500 years, a couple of thousand years. And that's the thrill of a heritage that we're trying to get across to the public, and they're coming out in droves.
For more information about Manitoba's Winnipeg region and the Forks, you can call toll-free 1-800-665-0040, extension 325.
Next on POV.
Mary had a little lamb.
Its fleece was white as snow.
And everywhere that Mary went,
that lamb was sure to go.
You say either and I...
American Tongues, the award-winning film about the many ways Americans talk.
They talk like everybody else. I figure I sound just like Walter Cronkite.
I'm the voice of directory assistants throughout a good part of the country.
Join us tomorrow night at 8.
Renewal memberships provide the largest single source of funding for Prairie Public Television. When you receive your renewal notice, all you have to do to keep your favorite programs coming your way is return it with a check. Or you can renew by using your credit card and our 800 phone number.
Local broadcast costs for tonight's programs are underwritten in part by the Alex Stern Family Foundation and by the members of Prairie Public Television.
500 years after Columbus sailed forth on his voyage of discovery, humanity is poised on the verge of another incredible voyage. Join Star Trek: The Next Generation's Patrick Stewart on an epic journey with the first human